Welcome back to the Forward Moves podcast. No, we don't say that anymore. Sorry.
Today we have a guest.
Yeah. Today we have someone with us who can count on her hands how many times she has been out to a restaurant. She ordered her very first cafe coffee today, and she has only spent 72 hours in Brisbane and is already convinced to move here. Sally Warren, welcome.
Thank you. Love the intro.
Thanks. Stumbled a little bit, but we got there.
Yeah, elephant in the room, first coffee ever.
Well, from a cafe.
You're from a cafe. I love a cold brew and I buy them online in cans. And I only started drinking coffee last year, actually. Before that, was not a coffee drinker at all.
Well, that sort of makes sense why it's like taken so long to order. I'm saying like
Long time. I was so scared of caffeine for like a really long time.
Why?
I'm just more of an anxious person, like easily stimulated. So I was like, I don't know what this is going to do to me. So,
That's fair. So you went straight into cold brew.
yeah, I don't like hot drinks. I don't love hot drinks.
But
I
like
love hot chocolate.
not milk, like cold brew. Like does it have milk in it?
No, it doesn't. No, so I'm dairy free as well. So
Oh, right. But that's a pretty crazy jump to go from like none to cold brew, because cold brew is high strong.
I just needed something.
The business stress just got to you.
Yeah, exactly. I think the business stress and just needing something to keep me on edge a little bit.
Yeah.
Get more things done in a day, and it certainly works. I think it's business, to be honest. Like I think I can't explain it. You can only experience it.
Yeah. You need something to keep you going.
Something to keep you going, something to keep you locked in.
I was gonna say the lock-in is so helpful, like with caffeine. I recently used like nicotine gum. Oh man, the lock-in focus of that was
Does it work?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, like so focused and like so fast, and just like it's the reason why you guys have been messaging lately and I don't reply for a while, because I'm like actually focused on my task and I'm not being distracted.
Oh, maybe I need to try
I
that.
was going to say, I have to look into it.
Literally from Woolies.
Addiction is nicotine.
I did like the lowest option available. It was like 2 milligrams. And then even like I was talking to my coach and he was like, yep, just stay on that. He's like, if you tell me if you increase it, but he's like, if you're only doing it on work days and when you need it, and then as long as you're not like reaching for it or anything like that. And I was like, yep, sweet. But yeah, maybe give it a trial out when you have nothing else on.
I'll let you know how it goes.
So for those who are listening to the pod, do you want to explain who you are, what you do, where you're from,
Yeah.
what you're all about?
So I'm Sally, of course. I am from Ballarat in Victoria originally, and I live in Torquay, Victoria now. I'm an online coach. I am the head coach and founder of Let's Evolve, and Let's Evolve actually was largely birthed through Forward Moves. So obviously all the branding and all the website and the continued service and support has been the reason why and how I've been able to grow and evolve the business from where we started, which was Sally Grace Fitness, when I was PTing in gyms, and then transitioned to online. So I've been in the industry now for nearly 6 years, and I'm just obsessed with it. Like every day, and just getting hungrier to create more impact and grow and impact more women. And yeah.
Are you a women only coach?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. So I have worked with a couple of males over the years, but I think that because like when I work with someone, I want to be able to understand them. I want to be able to understand how they think, and I want to be able to feel like I resonate deeply with them. And I've connected with males, of course, those couple of males that I worked with, but I just didn't feel like I could coach them make as big of an impact in their lives as I could to the woman. And what I'm more driven by as women as well is they not only make their own meals, but they're making meals for their family. So they're going to be teaching their children how to eat. They're going to be showing their partners how to put a plate together. And that really, like, if I can plant that seed for that woman, then that's going to help other people as well.
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
Such a sweet way to think of it. So yeah, Let's Evolve has been active for 18 months now. And then previous to that, your Sally Grace Fitness. Yeah. Yeah. So yes, we went through the rebrand process together and we've been working together ever since. So you're probably one of my longest one-to-one clients. Longest, which is really sweet. And I obviously know quite a bit about you because we meet weekly, and there's a big part of your story that no one knows. You don't publicize it at all. And it took you probably 9 months to tell me what the story was. And Sally has agreed to tell it on the podcast today for the first time, which is really exciting. It's a really touching story. So do you want to get into why you got into fitness and health and how you ended up being a coach?
Yeah, sure. Well, I think when I think about like why, when we talk about our why as business owners, I don't know about you, but I always think back like what wakes me up in the morning, or what in those difficult moments of business and coaching do I find that drive to keep pushing through? And it always comes back to just remembering what it felt like for me after like going through a process of healing and recovery after having anorexia, and then finding my feet with nutrition with a coach for the first time. And just the impact that he had on my life with teaching me about macros, teach me about calories, although for someone who had anorexia, that might sound scary. But for me, it actually gave me a lot of power. I started to understand that nutrition and food wasn't something to be feared. It was actually something that could help me feel better. So I always think back to that moment. But a lot of my journey has kind of stemmed from the death of my sister that happened when I was 10. I was 11. I was in grade 6. So I would have been 12, turning 13, going into high school. Should I open up a little bit about that as well?
If you're comfortable, yeah.
Yeah. So my sister, Sarah had a brain tumor and was sick for a couple of years. And then we went through that process as a family as well. We were traveling to the Royal Children's Hospital in Melbourne quite a lot through her illness. And she did pass. And then probably the reason why this story is so attached to my business is because once Sarah passed away, I started running, which was something she did when she was here with us. And I always remember just being like a little girl and just being so confused, like, why would you run? like so silly. But then when she passed on, my friends and family were like, you should come give it a try. And they would just ask me to go like every single week until I was like, fine, I'll go and give it a try at the local running track, Little Athletics. And yeah, I went and I've never stopped. Like running was a massive part of my when I look back on the process, I'm like, okay, running helped me heal. It helped me understand who I was in that process. But I think it also helped me process the trauma of losing my sister. Although I didn't know it at the time, when I look back, I'm like, of course, that's why I was like so addicted to it. I just kept going back. And then that, of course, led me to do exercises at home because I'm not one to just want to run. I'm wanting to run as the best. Like I've always been a person who wants to do things to the highest level that I can. So I just have memories of being a little girl and like watching Neighbours, and then in the ad breaks, like doing squats and glute bridges and push-ups and planks and like all these little exercises. And then pretty much as soon as I could get my hands on a gym membership at 16, I was at the gym.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like where my passion for fitness evolved and came to life. And it's just been something I've been so like, people ask me, what do you do with your time, Sally? And I know this is something I need to work on in 2026 is like more things that aren't to do with health and fitness, because like my career is health and fitness. But then outside of that, like I do live and breathe what I'm teaching in a big way. But it's also been so much of my journey for as long as I can remember.
And then you got into the gym at 16. When did the anorexia come up?
Yeah, so the anorexia actually, well, I was diagnosed with anorexia at 17.
Okay.
So I do remember in year 7, like deciding that I wanted to stop eating. Mm-hmm. And I remember that one of the teachers in the high school heard about it. I must have said it in a friendship group or something. And she was like, said to me, Sally, if you stop eating, you can't run. You need to eat to run. And then I was just like, oh my God, okay, so I have to eat. Mm-hmm. But I do remember like, because after my sister passed, my family became a little bit disconnected, of course, as you could imagine, something like that. And my father became more stay at home and my mum was working as a nurse. So the roles kind of flipped there. So Dad and I would do the grocery shopping. And so I had a lot more power in what we ate. And our home life changed. Like we didn't eat at the table as a family. You know, I was able to skip meals or like fly under the radar at different meals and things like that. So I think that those things kind of, I don't know if Sarah's death created it. I can never really know that. I think a psychologist would have to deep dive with me. But I can see how as events unfolded, like the sickness became worse to the point where I was hospitalized. And that really was my whole world then for a number of years.
How long were you hospitalized for?
So I was hospitalized twice from like 17 to 19. And the longest I was in hospital for was 3 months. So I did live in the intensive care unit for the first time. I went into hospital for I don't know how long the period was, but then when I was taken out of hospital, I then got a lot sicker, like really fast, and was like very, very, very sick. And then I went back, and that was when I was like living in there for like a good 3 months, full on.
What's the experience like going into hospital for anorexia? Like I feel like people as somewhat like you do see it come up online a little bit more now, and they say like how awful the experience is and like the education around like what you're given when you're in there and things like that. Can you go into like your experience about being in there?
Yeah, of course. So my experience of going into hospital, I was kind of, I won't say trapped, but conned in a way to going into hospital by my teachers and my father. So I didn't want to go to hospital. I was forced into hospital, and I was basically taken to hospital against my will. Like if I had my own way, I never would have gone. But I also understand I probably wouldn't have survived if that had have happened. So when I went into hospital, it was terrifying. And I also thought, how can I get out of here as fast as possible? And also thinking this is only going to be a week and I'll be back to my normal schedule. But basically my personal experience was that the goal from the doctors and the nurses was to make me gain weight as consistently and as quickly as possible to make me healthy. So there are like regular weigh-ins, daily meetings with doctors. Like my heart rate was extremely low. I remember, you know, the nurses coming in every night throughout the night to check my pulse and like all of these things. But basically experience is everything runs on a schedule of meals, and consistently having meetings with doctors and being watched by nurses because I wasn't allowed to exercise and I was addicted to exercise. So being very, very closely monitored, and just every day trying to think, how can I get out of here? How can I get out of here as quickly as I can? So yeah, I mean, it is a very, very traumatic experience, and it has negatively impacted me. But at the same time, I don't like to look at it like that. In the role that I'm in and in the position I am and I'm in my career and as a coach, although, as you said, Ash, like no one really knows about this story. Like I don't speak to my customers about it. I do lean on the things that I've learned in my coaching. And so although I don't have anorexia anymore and I don't have an eating disorder anymore, the things that I've experienced do give me a level of understanding with mindset. And when a woman talks to me about her body or about her nutrition or about her exercise, I'm able to kind of understand, right, this needs to change, like just have a different type of understanding that if I hadn't have gone through that, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a very much like a lived experience piece there of like understanding that body image can be very skewed. Even when you look amazing, you might not feel that you look amazing.
Exactly.
What did it look like when you chose to recover?
Yeah. Well, when I chose to recover, it was a lot about wanting to have freedom again, or have freedom. I remember when I was in hospital, I would get the daily newspaper from the nurses, and I would cut out photos of like all of the athletes in the sports section and blue tack them on the wall in my room. Because I felt so much drive from these athletes. Like they were so fit and they looked so healthy So I started to try to take on like this, right, if I can get healthy, I can be an athlete and I can go out and I can run again and I can, go spend time with my friends. And I remember my friends from high school would come and visit me in hospital and I would be like, if I can get better, then I can go spend time with those people again, because when you're in hospital, you are like isolated on purpose. At least that was my experience. So when I chose recovery, I didn't choose recovery because I wanted to, I wanted to be able to live life the way that I wanted to again. And for me, that was a lot to do with being able to run and being able to train. And so I used that vision and that part of my identity to help myself get better in a way. And I think that in coaching, that's something that I support my clients with as well. Like when a woman is going through a weight loss transformation, I'm like, okay, I understand this woman needs to shift her identity for someone who's like binge eating, really overweight, struggling with emotional eating. You need to be able to let go of those parts of your identity and start taking on, I'm the version of myself who feels strong. I'm the version of myself who fuels my body. I'm the version of myself who's like not reactive in emotional states. And I think that like I've lived that. I know that to recover, I had to take on a new identity. Like had to force myself to do that. And I think with anorexia recovery as well, I think it's the way that I've experienced it is that it's something you always have to work on. Like I'm in the fitness industry. I'm talking about calories and macros every day of my life. And I'm not triggered in any possible way. Like I'm so not in that place anymore at all. But there's always parts of your mind, like that experience was a big part of my life. That experience traumatized me. That experience doesn't traumatize me or impact me at all anymore. But I'm also very self-aware that I need to constantly work on my mindset. I need to constantly work on loving myself and understanding myself and building myself up. I've never relapsed since those days, but I also understand that it's a constant work in progress. And I think that's a lot about what coaching is, helping women to understand no matter where you're at in your journey, your mindset's a constant work in progress.
I think that's a really good way to put it as well, because I feel like everyone has this stigma that it's like, oh, well, if they are, say, overweight and they're like, oh, well, once I get to this size, then like I won't have any of these problems anymore. And it's like, once you get there, like there are more demons and there's more battles, but it's like this constant work in progress where I feel like it's like everyone just throws around like calorie deficit and then you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really good point to touch on, that like new level, new devil, or whatever it is. I don't want to call it like a devil, but yeah, I think that's a really important note for people to remember, that it's never just like linear and you get there and you cross the finish line and you win and it's all done. Yeah.
So coming off the back of your recovery, so I'm struggling so much to talk right now. Coming off the back of your recovery, you then became a face-to-face PT.
Well, coming off the back of my recovery, I actually I was pretty much, I'd say 19 was when I probably stopped seeing a doctor. I had to see them weekly after hospital.
Yeah.
And at that stage, I had to then learn how to live life in the world. Because you go from like, I was in hospital during VCE, like I was in hospital during critical parts of my teenage into like early 20s, like that 18, 19, 16, 17, 18, 19 kind of bracket of my life, where people are learning how to be social and how to get their driver's license and experience life as a young adult. And so I then had to go from living in a hospital to living with my parents, and then wanting to get away from that and wanting to move out of home and wanting to get my license. And when I did move out of home, when I was like, I think 21, I did then go into a phase where I was drinking a lot and partying a lot. And I feel like, although that, I'm sure we all do that, like, let's face it, part of life. But that was actually a tool that I used to help myself, like learn how to be social, learn how to eat. Because when I drank, I was able to not have those thoughts kind of control me as aggressively. And then I did gain some weight, and then I went through, and then I found some information about health and nutrition again, and I was like, right, I want to get back to running. I read a book by a guy named Rich Roll, who's a podcaster as well. And he's like a health and fitness advocate. He's also vegan. And so he was sharing his story, how he overcame alcoholism and he had addiction issues and he went vegan, and that kind of was his saving grace. So I then went vegan at that stage, and I like stopped all the alcohol, stopped all the smoking, stopped all the partying, like really stopped it, and then just transitioned into veganism. And that was really the first time where I was like, wow, food can make me feel good. And I just felt freer. And when I reflect, I think it was probably because I was removing so many food groups that had previously like been really difficult for me, and I just felt safer. And then I was vegan for 10 years. I'm no longer vegan anymore, but I was vegan for a really long time for health reasons, for animal reasons, for the, the health and well-being of animals, but also just because when I reflect, like that feeling of safety with food really helped.
Yeah. Do you think there's a missing piece with like the medical industry? They just want you to gain weight and eat food and make sure you're eating, but they're not actually teaching you what food is actually beneficial and healthy and good for you. They're just like, we just need you to gain weight.
Yeah. I did see a dietitian during the hospital period as well. So they were like, I think their role was more so teaching like the Australian healthy pyramid, this is how much dairy you need. This is how much you need calcium, because you were going to probably have osteoporosis. You need to have this many vegetables. So they were teaching it in a way, but they were teaching it from, that Australian healthy food pyramid. And with the food that they were providing, it was all from the hospital cafe. It was a lived-in hospital experience. So the food that I was eating, they would come and give me a menu and be like, what would you like today? It was just, the little ice cream cup and the little orange juice and different meals that you get throughout the period. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how traumatizing it would have been to go from not eating to basically being force fed.
Yeah.
Like
exactly
mentally that would have been like soul destroying.
Then also being weighed every day at the same time. Like I feel like it's so conflicting. Like I know that they have to monitor somehow that like you are eating what you're being given and things, but I'm like, I feel like that would be so triggering at the same time to like constantly like know your weight and like how much you're gaining, or like, and then being fed, and then, it just seems crazy to me.
There's like a new study that came out around eating disorders, and when you go to hospital and there's multiple girls or multiple people that have the eating disorder, you become competitive with each other. Like, were you housed with other children that had it, or?
So I was in the intensive care unit, so I was completely isolated in a room by myself. But in the later stages, in the second time that I went back in, there was one other girl that was in the same ward as me for a short period of time, and we did experience that kind of thing, actually.
Yeah.
It was probably bad for us to be, it was not a good idea for us to be near each other. And I'm from memory, the doctor, we both had the same doctor. And I think that in the end, the doctor was kind of like, okay, you guys can't communicate. Because we were just talking about calories and we were just talking about exercise and like just discussing the things.
Well, it's what's going on in the world and what's popular for you. Like people are going to talk about what they know about and what they're up to and doing. And if you're only in a hospital talking about food and weight and calories and training, it's hard for that not to be what you're talking about.
With so then you got into coaching, but you met a nutritionist before you became a coach, and they kind of changed your perspective on nutrition and taught you how to eat and things like that. Previous to meeting that nutritionist, had you used MyFitnessPal in more of a controlling way rather than an empowering way?
So previously to like when I was younger and going through the depths of the eating disorder, I don't know if you remember, do you remember like the Calorie King book?
Yes.
Yeah, so that was like my Bible.
So remember the point system?
Weight Watchers.
I think it was Weight Watchers points.
Weight Watchers are on points.
And you like had sorry, that's a trigger my memory.
Points. Yeah. And you have a certain amount of points to use.
I just used that Calorie King book a lot when I was a teenager and just really fascinated with that. But previously it was actually a coach. Like he was just a personal trainer. You know, he was just coaching in the gym. but he just changed my life in the most meaningful, powerful way when he taught me about calories and macros. It must sound unusual in my mind to think that someone who went through anorexia to then be learning about calories and macros, but just the way that he taught me felt so empowering because he was helping me improve my body composition. And I was really satisfied with the way in which I felt, the improvements I saw in my body. I was seeing him for PT fortnightly in the gym in Ballarat. And yeah, his impact on my life then led me to sign up for a personal training qualification. I was already a yoga teacher during that time as well. And then I went on to do further nutrition studies, and obviously here we are today. But yeah, his impact was just so powerful. I think it was because the way that he coached, he made me feel strong. He made me feel good. It's like good to be in the gym training. It's good to be getting stronger. It's good to be taking care of your body. So just the way that he presented health and fitness. And
was it a nice change up to hear? Because I'm sure all of that you heard before that was like, you're doing too much. You shouldn't be exercising. You should be sitting. You should be eating, like putting on weight and blah, blah, blah. So was it nice for someone to be like, it's good that you're here?
Yeah, if anything, he was like, do less, because I was that client that always wanted to do more and was always doing more. And he was like, you don't need to be training that much, and teaching me about steps and teaching me about, deload weeks and training in the gym with intention, not training in the gym trying to do 100 reps of an exercise, actually going to the gym with intention and purpose for your session and looking how you can progressively overload versus just, okay, how many calories can I burn?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And then you became a face-to-face PT. How long were you doing that for?
I did that for a year and I was fully booked by the end of the year, and it was also during COVID. When I went into face-to-face PT, I always have had this vision of doing online coaching. And the reason why is because I've always wanted to do more than just talk about training. I really want to talk about mindset, about nutrition, about lifestyle. Like I think more of that, not only how can I help you get stronger, but how can I help you change your life? And I know that when I experienced face-to-face PT, like there are only so many hours in a day. And I was one of those PTs that would like put myself back to back, self-sacrificing. Now I look back on it, not having boundaries with that kind of thing. But when you're doing online coaching, you can offer so much more through an app. You can offer so much more through a Zoom call where you're talking not just about how many calories did you eat today, or how many reps did you in that session, but okay, how are you and how are you experiencing your journey?
Beautiful. And so booked back to back on the floor. I actually have like so many memories of you just popping up on the page, like in the MA days. And I never really connected them until you came on to the Business Moves program, because you came on in one of the first versions of the program, I think. I just always remember you messaging us, like coming on post, and I'm like, who is this lady? I don't know who she is. And then next thing you know, you're in our world. So were you already in an online capacity before you came to us?
When I was doing face-to-face PT in Melbourne, we had really bad lockdowns in Victoria.
Yeah.
So the lockdown, we went through different stages. It wasn't too bad the first couple of times, but I think it was the third time it was like locked down, and we just had no idea when we were getting back into the gym. So I started using the online training apps to get my clients through, started doing Loom check-ins. I was just like, I'll do anything to keep you going. It was not just about me wanting to stay in business, but it was actually like, I don't want this woman to, I did not want this woman to lose everything that she's got so far. I want to see her continue to train, and just finding any way to keep them going. So then when we went back into the gyms, I already had like this kind of hybrid approach where I was training them online and with their nutrition and their habits, and then also PT. And then that kind of opened up the avenue, like, okay, I can take this leap.
And the rest is history.
Yeah.
I do want to speak to you about the last year though, because your growth in the last year has been phenomenal. Like, you're a completely different person to who you were when we first met you. I feel like you could even contest to this. Like, you're just so much more confident. So I feel like it's really worth talking about the challenges business has given you, but like the personal growth that it forced you to have. So what do you think was kind of some of the biggest lessons that you had over the past 18 months of like doubling your business?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Probably more than doubled the business since our time together.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a think from.
Oh, we were talking about this yesterday about the reel.
Oh, yes, the reel. Yeah. So I remember probably 12 months ago, like literally not even that long ago, Ash asking me to do reels for content, and I'm like literally having a nervous breakdown. Took me about a month to do a reel, and then I ended up changing it to a carousel anyway. I'm like, not doing this shit.
And now you make reels all the time.
And now I make them all the time. Yeah.
I think a really big contributor to this though is you lost a lot of weight over the last year as well.
Yeah.
Because you went to London.
Yeah, so it's so wild. So many things have happened over the course of my journey as a coach. You know, when I left the PT industry face to face, I'm still a PT, but when I left that face to face, I also went through a breakup at the same time. And that was the first relationship I had in around 6 or 7 years. So that was a really, you know, for me to go into a relationship was a big thing. Of course, I was a lot younger then. My emotional maturity was very low. That breakup and also transitioning out of face-to-face PT into online all at the same time and being injured with a foot injury at the same time, I just became an emotional eater, and I did end up putting on 20 kilos of weight over a short period of time. And so over these past, I put the weight on incrementally, like over the years, but then it did get to a really, you know, once I reached like 20 kilos of added weight to my body, which was probably from 2021 to 2023, I was like, okay, I am not okay. Like something's not right. Like I can't get through a day without like, you know, using food as a coping mechanism. And I was not feeling good. Obviously my clothes were a lot bigger, but more than that, I wasn't feeling like the most authentic coach. So I was asking my clients to do things that I wasn't willing to do, and I wasn't really okay with that. I went through a bit of a personal growth journey. I thought maybe I want to live in England. Maybe I want to live overseas. My father's from England, so I have a passport. So I went to England with the plans to figure out if I wanted to live there. And very quickly I realized I don't want to live there.
Where did you go in England?
Yeah, so I went to London, to Birmingham, which is where my family's from, my father's from. I went to I went to Brighton.
Yeah.
And I went to another random town that I thought I might want to live that I cannot remember the name of right now. But just like, because I went with the intention to find out if that's where I wanted to like birth myself or find a way to live there. I went to places that I thought might suit me, but yeah, it's too cold.
So was it just the weather in London that you were like, no?
Well, also while I was there, I was still running Sally Grace Fitness at the time.
Yeah.
And I was also running my coaching business. So doing that Zoom calls at like 4 a.m. And like I had no boundaries. I just didn't know how to look after myself. I didn't know how to be a business owner and be a healthy individual. So I think that I learned very quickly that running an Australian business on the other side of the world for me just did not work. And yeah, the colds, just miss so many things.
Reason why I ask is because I really want to move to London.
Oh, there you go.
I'm like, I really like, ever since me and James went to London, I'm like, I'm meant to be here. Like, this is the place for me. I need someone to like talk me out of it because I feel
It's very cold.
Okay,
ridiculous.
I spent 4 weeks in Canada and I was like, I just want to leave the house without putting on layers. And that was only 4 weeks. By the 4th week, I was like, I'm done. I'm so done. I was like, I don't want to put on coats. I don't want to put on like tights underneath my jeans. Like I was over it. It was really like cozy, comfy, cute, and like it's really aesthetic and the snow is nice and all this stuff, but like not for a long time.
I just fell in love with London. Like
So
I
would get
fell in
seasonal
love with
depression.
it. Well, see, I love winter.
Not forever though. You love the beach.
No, I don't.
What? You always you like Kira Beach and like you're like aesthetic and
I know, I love the location. If I touch sand, I'll have a hissy fit. Oh. James is the beach boy.
well then there's your answer. You can't move to London.
I know. They've got rocks.
Yeah, it's like pebble beaches. Anyway, we're getting very sidetracked.
I do like touching sand. It's just annoying. Just I couldn't swim every day. Do you go to the beach every day?
Honestly, no.
No.
No, I literally live 5 minutes from the beach in Torquay. I'm there regularly, but I'm not there every single day.
I feel like when I go to the beach, it's always like the hottest day in summer because we live so far away. So then you're running across the sand and you're jumping on your towel. And then there's been so many shark attacks this
Do you
year.
ever take like cover? Like, do you have a cool cabana or anything?
Yeah, but walking down to find your spot, that's traumatizing.
The worst part is like laying in the sun and I can just feel my skin burning. So if you have cover, it's fine. But
there's been like 20 shark attacks this year.
has there?
Yeah, apparently it's like super, super bad this year. Not trying to freak you guys out, but
Because you did think about moving to Brisbane, which we mentioned at the start, would you move to Brisbane or would you go like coast? Like what would you think?
I was talking to Ash about this yesterday. I think that I need to do some trips over 2026 because I don't have a lot of this is my first time to Brisbane. Don't have a lot of experience in the area.
Yeah.
There's something in my body that just feels right here. Like I just feel no friction. I feel like at peace and everything's just flowed since I got here.
Energy is like,
Energy is like, this is how I'd like to feel every day.
yeah.
everyone's so chill here. I think because I'm a Gold Coast hater.
Yeah. And then, so I feel like we're always like, no.
I don't hate it. It's just I like going on a walk when no one knows me. I feel like I got such a big head right now, but the fitness industry is all there. So like I can't go for a walk. But like we went to the Gold Coast for the Christmas party and we went and got a coffee on the Saturday morning. I was baffled by the amount of people in activewear and if there was like 100 people that came into that shop alone, like let alone the rest of the Gold Coast. So
I feel like you'd like to
see. You'd love the Gold Coast.
I've not been to the Gold Coast since I was probably 10 or 11, so I can't remember what it's like at all. But I'm just the fantasy in my head that you guys are talking about people in activewear, like because I'm in Torquay, I work from home, I have no friends that are coaches, I'm not surrounded by people. Like while I've been working here, it's been like my soul's on fire because I'm talking to people about the things that I love and the things that I do. Just the idea of having that type of life is so exciting to me. I'm like, oh, that's how normal people feel. I think like they get to go to work and talk to other people.
Yeah. And it's crazy like how busy it is. Like not like in a bad way, but even like 5 a.m., so many people on the beach walking, like if it's on the path or like actually on the beach and just like everyone is out and about early, which I love. And I always, if I'm out that early in the morning and people are like doing like running, cycling, walking, and I'm just like, look at all these people like just living their best life and like getting out, like being active. I'm like, oh, I love it. So
plus we're having events next year, so you can come to our
you'll be able to make your trips work in with that.
Literally fly out for the FM event. Yeah. But yeah, honestly, like moving interstate was the best thing I ever did. Highly recommend it.
It's so annoying because I thought recently, I was like, I wonder if I'll ever live interstate. But then because Liam's lived in so many places, he's like, okay, I found my place at the Gold Coast. And I'm like, God damn it. I guess I won't be moving interstate then.
I will say Queensland is the best state. Like, you know how like New South Wales and Queensland have that like you suck or you suck kind of thing. We'll never be Maroon supporters to start with, but the feeling up here, like everyone is so serious in New South Wales. Like everyone just needs to chill a little bit. And like, I don't know, you're just happier. Maybe I do have seasonal depression.
You see, I don't think you can move to London.
It is so nice. My dog just hates it because she sweats all the time and she's just dying. She gets a groom on Friday at Holy Wolves. I was laughing about this yesterday.
So random.
We were in the office yesterday, I was just giggling and I feel like Sal would be like, what is wrong with this girl? And I was like, oh, Callie's getting groomed at Holy Wolf.
Oh, like Hollywood.
And then I sent it to James and he goes, I think they're meant to say Hollywood. And I was like, no shit, babe. Sorry. Hijacking this conversation with my dog as per usual.
Love it.
So yeah, online coaching, you've had like exponential growth this year and like obviously weight loss to go with that as well. But with like the business challenges that you've gone through, what do you think has been the most, what's the word, like impactful when it comes to your overall personal growth?
The one thing I've learned is that you feel the hard thing and you do the thing you need to do anyway. So being able to feel the difficulty, the tension, the challenge, when I used to feel that, I would have a mental breakdown. I would have a panic attack. I'd feel so much anxiety, like I could not take action. And that's where I needed you to be like, Sally, it's going to be okay. You're going to survive. But in those moments when you are so overwhelmed with anxiety and fear, it's really difficult to be able to take that action. And so the biggest thing that I've learned and the biggest thing that has impacted my growth is that ability to get to that point where like, okay, anxiety, I see you. Fear, I see you, but this is the path that I'm going to take. And just being able to overcome that in those moments.
And do you think it's like doing it anyway, even though you're probably like riddled with anxiety, but you're doing it anyway, and then you get out the other side and you're like, see, we're fine. And then so the next time it comes up, is that how it like you go, okay, like we've done this before, we can do it again. And that's how you like keep getting through the next like boundaries or barriers.
Yeah, I think it's really it resonate when you share that. I think a lot about my customers as well, because you know they have those difficult moments like, oh my God, I have to meal prep. How can I do this? I'm like, you just have to give it a try. You're going to figure out what didn't work and you're going to apply those lessons the next week and you're going to get better at it and it's going to get faster and you're going to enjoy it and you're going to find better ways to do it every time. And it's exactly the same with business. I've had really difficult, challenging things, and every time I then repeat those things and get better at them and learn from them and grow from them, now I'm in a place where I can be really present with, okay, when you are repetitious, like repetition is the most important thing, because repetition is what creates our confidence, what creates our resilience. It's what helps us learn more about it, who we are, and it also helps us to learn that it's going to be okay. We're going to be okay. And the things that we think are not the truth. You know, all of those thoughts that I had, like these people hate me, these people don't want me, these people, you know, think all of these things about me, like it's literally just in my head. And when you get out of emotion and into logic and like into reality, I'm now able to separate myself from those things where before those things controlled me. Yeah.
Yeah, you've explained it really well, because I feel like that's what you've done this year. I always laugh when like you send me a message, you're like, Ash, I need help. And you're like, don't worry, I figured it out. I'm like, okay, cool. You've done it to me too. I get this email and you're like, never mind. And I'm like, are you good? You're like, yep.
It's always like, okay, now that I've actually written it all out, I've figured it out. Never mind.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like sometimes you'll send me a voice memo and I can hear you like process it on the voice memo. You're like, don't worry. Send it through to me. But you should be really proud of your growth this year, because you've had a massive, massive year this year. You've gone from basically feeling really unconfident just launching your business to having a glow about you and having a really successful business. It's really good to see.
Thank you.
Were you really nervous to take your name out of your business name?
Honestly, no, because I have this vision where Let's Evolve is bigger than me. And I knew that if I wanted to create that growth, I had to separate myself from that. It's so interesting to talk about, because even when I was in the gyms, I was like, I had this vision to be an online coach. And I didn't really know what that meant or like what that was going to look like. And then when I talk about how Sally Grace Fitness went to Let's Evolve, I didn't know what that looked like, but I knew I had to change things. Yeah.
Not going to lie, you stole a pretty good name.
Thanks.
Like the fact that you got Let's Evolve is like pretty cool. So beautiful journey. Let's jump into just like some general chit chat, because I feel like we've had a lot of conversations since you've been here. We went to Fishbowl the other night. It was really good. I took Sally to Fishbowl for the first time and she loved it. And then my shoe broke. That was fun, wasn't it? But what are you loving about Brisbane the most being here?
The skies are super blue. Love that. The vibe. I love how everyone gets up early. Like I've gotten so many things done here. Yeah, I feel like it's my personality. That's what I feel when I'm driving home, like this place is my personality.
So I used to think that I wanted daylight savings. And then I realized in summer, they don't get a sunrise. Like if you get up early, it's like dark at 5 a.m. So like it's not the sunrise until like 6:30 in the morning. And I'm like, that's too late. So I actually realized that I was like, I don't want daylight savings. I used to think I was because I was like, the sun's up for so much longer. And I'm like, that's my bedtime. I don't want the sun up then. So yeah, maybe that's the difference too, is like no daylight savings.
Yeah.
So everyone's up early. That's my schedule.
I love that. I was thinking about it yesterday when I drive, because I'm not used to that commute because everything's from home when I'm in Torquay. It's a lot of thinking time and a lot of like learning and thinking during that time. So I was driving home and I was thinking maybe this is a really good idea, because when you don't have daylight savings, the year's consistent. And when you're consistent in business, you can make a lot of momentum and a lot of progress.
Do you know, you probably also like the drive and thinking time because it's very similar to running.
True.
Yeah, because when you're out running, people say they have like the best ideas when they're running and they listen to like no music running and they're like, it's just like mental clarity, thought time. Sometimes I'll drive in complete silence and then you're like, and all of these ideas come to your brain while you're driving. So maybe that's why you like the drive.
Yeah, it's a similar experience.
But you know, in Melbourne, sunrise is even later. It's like 7 a.m.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
not okay.
So you know that you live in Queensland when you wake up at 6:30 and it's considered a sleep in.
Yeah. The problem is me and my boyfriend were on different time schedules. Like he likes to sleep in and stay up late. And then I get up at like 4:30, 5 a.m. and then I'm in bed by 8:30. But then it gets to the weekend and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to set an alarm. And then he's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, well, like late is 7. And he's like, that's not a sleep in. I'm like, that's like a 2.5 hours sleep in. And he's like, oh, we really battle each other on those ones. But yeah, if I'm up later than like 7 a.m., I'm upset.
Well, it's funny because I have a photo shoot this weekend, and when I booked the hair and makeup for the photo shoot while I was down in Torquay, they're like 5:30 a.m. for the makeup. First they wanted me to come at 5, and then I was like, can we do 5:30? Because the shoot starts at 8, and that was like the times they had. And in my mind I'm thinking, 5 a.m. for makeup. Oh my God, this is insane. And now I'm up here. I'm like, of course, makes sense.
We're all up.
I get it. People are probably
Late on. Everyone's on their
this by
fucking coffee at 5 a.m. up here.
Yeah.
And then you got your photo shoot on Saturday.
Yeah.
And then I think you're going to the Gold Coast on Saturday.
I'm going to see if I can. If the traffic's awful, I'm just can't be bothered with that. But I want to go to Total Fusion. I want to just like go to Total Fusion. I've got saunas and ice baths and smoothies. So I'm so keen to check that out as well.
I convinced Sal to go to the new said one with the tree in the middle. That's your gym.
And you have to be a member.
Really? You have to sign up? Not even a day pass? Maybe you have to go to Morningside.
Devastating.
There is one at Chermside, which is very close to where you're staying. It just might not be as bougie as the Newstead one.
I'll check them out. I'll do a bit of research.
Are you going to pop your Yochi bubble?
I think I'm going to have to.
Yeah.
One of my customers loves Yochi. So it's so funny because I know all about these restaurants because of my customers, but I've never experienced them myself. But I researched their menus. I know all of the things.
I am getting back onto like the YoMG train rather than Yochi. YoMG just has way better toppings and I prefer their yogurt. And everyone is like, no, YoMG's yogurt's shit. I highly rate YoMG. They've got like the Dubai chocolate like topping and they've got like lolly toppings and not just like chocolate and soft top. Yep, YoMG.
So is it like the same as Yochi?
Similar, just a different brand name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a thing, hey?
Yeah, YoMG also have like burgers and fries and so you can do like dinner and yogurt.
Sal's never been to Yochi, like in the store to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's
got
so
that from
different.
not being to Yochi before.
Oh, when you're talking about the toppings, I was like, we need to explain the toppings.
No, but she's looked it up. She knows.
Yeah, I understand what it is.
It's yogurt
like
with
frozen yogurt and you put all of your choices on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll love
Good
it.
time.
Do you have any like Gold Coast noodle?
Oh, Noodle Broad Beach. Oh my God, you'll love it so much. It's literally rice, poached chicken, and curry sauce. Best meal you'll ever have in your life. Do you like chili?
No.
Oh, well, you do. You can't have a side of chili, so you don't put the chili on. That's fine. But it is literally I'll have to send it to you.
Okay.
But if you're planning on going, if you're going on Saturday, let me know what time you plan on going and I'll help you with the time of when to go so it's not busy for you to get there.
Is it in Gold Coast or is it in Brisbane?
Gold Coast.
Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my gosh, there's so much to explore. I feel like I've got a new lease on life up while I'm here because I'm so interested in so many things that are here. Whereas down in Melbourne, it's like I work, I train, I go to the beach, Like that's my existence. Whereas here it's like, oh, there's so many fun things to do. And
so was your photo shoot for a particular reason, or to see, like, is it a particular photographer, or what is the...
Well, with my weight loss, like over the course of the weight loss, I lost 20 kilos and I've been able to sustain and keep that off, which I'm really proud of, because that's a lot of what my business is about as well. Like when I bring a customer on, I'm like, okay, we're going to lose the weight, but if you walk out of this coaching and I don't teach you how to keep it off, I haven't done my job. So for me to be able to instill that in my own like behavior and life is something I'm pleased about. But the photo shoot I wanted to book for like 2 years, like pretty much over the course of the weight gain and the weight loss. I was like, I would love to be able to just do a photo shoot, because I've done them for the business. I've done like 4 branding shoots over the course of like 5 to 6 years. But I've never really felt how I wanted to feel, because my body has never been in a place where I've been super satisfied. But yeah, so I booked this photo shoot with a photographer named Life Fitness Photography, a woman named Emily. Have you heard of?
I've actually done a team shoot with one of my previous coaches. They were the photographers. Yeah, she's lovely.
Yeah, I've been following them on Instagram forever. So I'm super excited about it. So it's just like a thing a photo shoot I've booked for myself to
Celebrate yourself.
just to celebrate and just to be like, I did this and no one can take that away from me. And this is something that I chose and I gave it 100%, and these photos are going all over my walls.
Yeah, I love that. It's such a good thing to have. Like, I've done a photo shoot like on my own as well once before, and it's so fun to just like look back on and be like, fuck yeah, like I did that. And you can like commemorate it in a way that's not just like you forgot to take photos because you were at a party or like going to an event or whatever it is, but it's like, this was for me, by me. Like, yeah, it's such a good thing to celebrate. And just for like not no reason, but like just for you. Like there's no other external factor that's for this little celebratory thing. So that's really fun. I like that.
Yeah. Another thing is as well is like with my customers over the course of the years that I've been coaching, I'm always like, okay, what are you going to do to celebrate your milestones? I've some customers send me like photos of designer things they want to buy, or a new watch, or like a pair of shoes. And I love that. And I did a branding shoot with my clients a few years ago, actually. I remember how nervous they were to do it. So another reason that drew me to want to do this is to show, like, be the example for my customers and be like, you can do these things and you can also celebrate yourself in the biggest way and feel good about it. I feel like a lot of the time women, when we're looking at weight loss, sometimes there's a lot of shame around it. Whereas I want to be able to come like show them that it can actually be something that makes you better and brings out the best in you and can give you a lot of empowerment versus something that we need to hide.
Yeah, it's super powerful. And I think it also is like putting yourself first and being like, yep, like I'm the reason that this is here and I'm allowed to feel good in my own skin. Because I feel like for so many years, women are like, you're not thin enough, you're not tall enough, you're not skinny enough, your boobs aren't big enough, blah, blah, blah. But it's like being able to be like, no, like I look great, and being able to be cocky and confident instead of being like, nope, you have to sit down and pretend that you hate yourself.
Exactly. That's a lot of power in that. Like you don't have to let other people tell you if you were good enough. You can actually choose to see the value and the worth in what you've done and who you are. And that's part of that celebration. But a big thing, what you said about that, learning to prioritize yourself as well. Like as women, we're taught to put ourselves last, like put the family first, put the career first, put the clients first. And again, that's why, a big reason why that 20 kilos was something that happened to me, or not happened to me, but that I experienced. And so, this is a way that I, like over the course of this 20 kilo weight loss, I've had to learn how to look after myself, how to prioritize myself, how to prioritize my goals while growing a business. And I've been able to do that without either of those things. Obviously, there's always a balancing act. It's never perfect, but it's not supposed to be perfect. So yeah, that's very true.
Where in your life are you currently making moves?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I love this. Let me think.
I'm so bad at remembering this. So
Well, I'm currently making moves in a new lease on life. I think I'm always recreating myself. Ash and I have been talking about Sally moving to Brisbane, Sally
Literally making
trying
moves.
Yoshi. Literally making moves. But I hope that I can evolve. I can continue to evolve as a human, not just as a coach, not just as a business owner, but making moves in going from being like this hermit who kind of stays in her house to someone who's involved in life and living life in ways that aren't just related to health and fitness. I think that would be a really cool way to make moves.
Love that.
I love
Thank you so much for sharing so much and opening up about your entire story on this as well. Really appreciate like the vulnerability that it takes to actually share all of that information to whoever listens. So yeah, thank you for being able to do that.
Well, thank you for creating so much comfort and ease, like your energy. And I think just our relationship as well is why I'm able to talk so freely and openly and without hesitation. Because yeah, over the course of our journeys together, like guys are, although this is the first time we've met, you guys have been a big part of my world for years.
Yeah, it's been good to be able to see how you've grown as well throughout the time of being a part of our world as well. So yeah, that's been really nice. Where can people find you?
People can find me on Instagram. It's probably where I am the most, at SallyWarren_1 or at Let's Evolve Co. And we also have a website, let'sevolveco.com.au.
Perfect. Thank you so much for coming on. It was such a great chat.
Thank you.
Thank you,
We'll see you
Sal.
next
Thanks, ladies.
See you later.
Bye.